I am Ken Childers, and here at the Ozarks Film Foundry, I am the Director of Outreach. And at the same time, under that umbrella, there is the Southwest Missouri Film Office. I am the Director of Outreach for that, but moving towards being a film commissioner. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Sounds like a big deal.
Sounds like a big deal, yes. Exactly.
So let's start with, sounds like there's two entities then.
Under the same umbrella of filmmaking in the Ozarks. Where we're seated today is we are in the Kenny DeForest Memorial Theater at the Ozarks Film Foundry. We're located over here at 1300 West Poplar. The best way I describe it to those who know their way around Springfield, just a little bit off of the intersection of Chestnut and Kansas. Yeah. Basically, if you look catty corner from us, you'd see Paul Mueller. Boom, we're on the other side of the street that way. Above where the salt trucks sit, and you cross the train track right there. In this property, we are the Ozarks Film Foundry.
And Ozarks Film Foundry, what's the purpose? What's their goal? What's their why?
It's mostly education. We want to be the resource center for people who want to be filmmakers who live and reside here in the Ozarks. That's the purpose of the Foundry. So if we have the ability to host a class or put on a workshop or provide camera equipment, stay tuned. In 2026, we'll be able to rent that out to filmmakers where they don't have to own their own. Also, we want to have classroom space so we can do the instruction or show their movies here in this black box theater or their shorts or whatever they're producing. We also want to have space where they could record like we are right here, doing a podcast, video cast, if you will, and have the editing bays. So their whole thing that they shoot all over the Ozarks or partially in St. Louis and come from Kansas City and up from Branson and put all that together and edit it. We have that ability very soon too, where they can sit there and do all that on the good computers.
Is this going to be like geared towards children? Is this going to be towards adults? Is it both? Is it a mixed?
It's a mixed from the standpoint. It's mostly adults. So let's say from our standpoint, college and above, from that effort. There are other organizations here in town that we work with that geared themselves towards children who are now growing up with a camera in their pocket everywhere they go, and they're on that on this dashboard and everything else. That organization is called Plotline, and Jim Boltus is the director of that. He's an amazing guy. He also teaches some of our classes on things like lighting and so forth, script writing. He can do all that.
We should have him here.
Jim is good. I'll get you in touch.
I know. I've got Jim's contact info. Anyway, he's on my radar. Anyway,
excellent.
We've met up at 1 Million Cups, and
there you go.
He's on the radar. So, what about the other entity? How is it different?
The Southwest Missouri Film Office. So the Southwest Missouri Film Office actually has our that address on the third floor of the Galois Theater. We share that space on the third floor as a service extended to us through the Hatch Foundation, who helps us pay rent, us and other arts-based organizations. So we have the Galois office, and they're there every day and trying to find another show to book and another event and everything else. At that amazing 100-year-old theater, we share our own common area and individual offices with things like the Ozarks Lyric Opera, Sato 48, the 48-hour film competition that we work a lot with also, the Jazzmo Orchestra, the Mosaic Arts Collective. Those are also other organizations, 501c3s, but arts-based that reside here in Springfield. We just have the courtesy of working at the Galois Theater. But the Southwest Missouri Film Office is here to be the assistance and liaison if somebody wants to shoot something in our neck of the woods. We were made the approved entity for that by the Southern Missouri Council of Governments, aka SIMCOG, and that has Green at the center, surrounded by the 9 counties that meet up around Green.
I think there was maybe a movie you had mentioned at some point, maybe it was 1 million cups.
At 1 million cups, yes. The movie that we helped shoot and connected them and put them in touch with the Greene County Sheriff's Department where they use their
SimCog
cars.
helped us out.
Well, the people in SimCog, yes, from that standpoint, they were part of it. They said, oh, okay, shoot your production here because this adds to economic development. You're spending, you're renting, you're hiring. Right. Those are the things we want to see come out of the film industry that's in Missouri. About 2 years ago, the SHOMO Act was signed into existence by Governor Parson, and it's one of 38 different states, I think it's up to 39 now, that have film offices in their capital, but then spread out to try to attract productions to here.
So instead of Ozarks being in...
My favorite example, yes. Why do you have to go to Georgia to shoot a show called Ozarks? Mm-hmm. The actual creator of that is from Lake of the Ozarks, but the tax incentives weren't there like they are now with the SHOMO Act. Georgia's been doing it for 25 years.
Right.
And so not everything's shot in Hollywood and everything else. Another good example, last Christmas was the Chief's Christmas, the Hallmark movie. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes, Patrick was in it. Yes, Travis was in it. Yes, Andy was in it. But they were only going to shoot that in Hallmark's backyard, Kansas City, their world headquarters. They were only going to shoot the scenes at Arrowhead in Kansas City, and the rest of the show was going to be made in Toronto. However, with the tax incentives from the SHOMO Act, they shot the entire thing in Kansas City, so Kansas City benefited from all of it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. They didn't have to.
What was the final number on that?
The production?
Yeah.
The cost?
Yeah.
I think that they ended up spending, if I'm not mistaken, the number I heard was around $18 million in Kansas City, you know?
Yeah.
And of course, they hired a lot of local talent and producers and editors and all the things that go along with that.
Sure, cool. Yeah, sir. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get involved with this?
Well,
where do you come into play with that?
A friend of mine, probably someone else you've heard and you know who does podcasts too, Matt Graham.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Matt and I have been buddies for a while, and we met through different networking groups and stuff like that. He's helped my dad out with changing his mortgage and everything else that Matt loves to do. But Matt is a fan of the Ozarks and said, Ken, we're doing our podcast here. You ought to come sit in and listen and everything. You know everybody. And I'm like, keep talking. And the thing that kind of moved me into that realm is I am the grandson of an actor. My grandfather from St. Louis was a very active actor in St. Louis back in the late 60s and 70s. He was on stage. You heard his voice on radio commercials. You saw him in the car commercial, you know, as they were doing all these different things. But then if they were cast somewhere for a bigger movie and so forth, Grandpa was in it. His name was Harry Gorsuch. And I grew up going, wow, you know, that's my grandpa. So I was always kind of interested in it.
Sure.
And the whole idea that things were actually shot. He was in a movie in St. Louis. They shot under the Eads Bridge right down there on the landing, the old antique-looking bridge, if you will, on the Mississippi. And it was called Stingray. It was about a stolen Corvette and the drugs that were in the back. And he was a cop, and he had to. He didn't know he was going to be a stunt man that day, but he went flying over the hill in the cop car and chasing them and all that kind of stuff. So at Thanksgiving and Christmas, I got hooked listening to those stories. Yeah. Yep.
That's funny. And how old were you then?
I would have been, oh goodness, probably hit me the most like when I was in late grade school and going into junior high.
So very impressionable age.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
And you knew from then, you were like, that's what I want to go?
Well, I knew that I also had no problem being on stage, performing.
Yeah.
I went to college, I got a football scholarship and a theater scholarship, so I had no problem performing, singing, you know, doing all the things that was a part of that. I also had to have an outlet, you know, to be on stage or do that. So to find out that I knew people that were trying to do that here in the Ozarks, let's connect those dots. Let's make that real.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Any exciting events that are coming up for either of the two organizations?
Basically, what we are so close right here for people to check us out at the Ozarks Film Foundry at 1300 West Poplar. Look us up online, our website, ozarksfilmfoundry.org. The reason I'm saying all that is because we are 90% done with having the facilities ready. People already use it, but it'll be a finished black box theater, the finished podcast room, the finished bay. All this is going to be happening hopefully at the first or the second quarter of 2026. We'll have all that available to filmmakers wanting to use the space.
What are you waiting? Are you waiting on funds? Or are you waiting on help? Or
it's
or both?
mostly help. We're just trying. We're a 501c3 with no employees that are full time, and it's volunteers and so forth. So it's like, oh yeah, my day job. Yes, I'll be here at 6 after I get off work. Right. Those type of things. But you know what? There's a lot of filmmakers that have that same thing. They have the day jobs.
Yeah.
They have to be able to feed their family and so forth. But the passion is there. The equipment is better. We're going to have access to it where they can rent it from us. And in the rest of the building, phase 2s, if you will, above us up here is a big open warehouse that could have a green screen built in it, and sets and the whole 9 yards.
Nice. Yeah.
Right now, you wouldn't want to shoot it in July or August because it's not air conditioned. But if you want to build it, today might be a little hard too.
So they can find your website and they can donate or do or sign up for volunteering as well.
We're going to be doing and kicking off some major fundraisers. We are looking also to start a creatives mixer. There are a mix of creatives all around town, but they're like also in advertising and computer and things like that. But we're going to start doing one to work hopefully with the arts and people like the Springfield Regional Arts Council to have events here on a probably bi-monthly. What is it? Is it bi-monthly, twice a month, or I always get that mixed up?
I think I saw on your site it's twice every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
you guys have
every
an
2
event.
weeks. That's easier to say.
Is that tomorrow?
No, that'll be next month. We're kicking it off. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So
I think I saw it somewhere. I was like every 2 weeks.
We're getting ready to have that where it's like, come and what are you working on? What do you need help with? Okay, can we help you with this? And at the same time, by bringing that community in here, it's like, hey, you could help us underwrite because the next thing we want to do is have a festival, or we want to have things that are locally made and show the rest of the world because of our connections being a film office. One of the things that we've just recently got approved to be a liaison for, and it was with the help of being recognized by SIMCOG, is that with the Association of Film Commissioners International, we are now going to be in a liaison. That means that here's a number, here's a person to call, here's where you get a film permit, here's someone who can introduce you to the person that has a property on the James River that might be a good location, etc. We want to be that database and that resource.
You're a connector.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And put that together with the film office. So we be recognized. So as a liaison, it's an international organization. So if someone's like, I want to shoot something in the Ozarks, that really is the Ozarks and not looks like. The thing that got me the most on the show Ozark,
I haven't even seen the show. So
okay, well, I'm going to give this away.
What I'm missing.
The whole thing, when they tell you that's Marty's Motel and it's on the Strip, that is not the Strip. There are too many pine trees up there. No. Yeah. The Strip in Lake of the Ozarks does not look like Georgia. Sorry. Okay, yeah. There's my tip off to that. But we've got lots of opportunity here, and we just want to keep inviting people to participate in it.
Now, is there also readings, or is that a separate event?
The readings?
The readings, yeah.
The readings is something that would be a separate event from that standpoint.
Because it seems like I saw that maybe on your Facebook page as well.
We would do that. That's one of the things we want to increase. Going into, here's an example with the film tax credits. We have access to assistant directors who are recognized by the state of Missouri's film office. So in other words, if you go to a class here at our place put on by one of these assistant directors, you become certified. The reason that's important is when a filmmaker comes to town and is looking for an assistant director or associate, assistant production, whatever the production assistant PA, they are certified. Now you get to claim that for your taxes because you hired a local Missourian who is certified. and recognize.
Yeah, that's cool.
Check that box.
Super cool.
The other things that the state looks for is like, hey, are you shooting in a tier 3 county? Why wouldn't you? Because it gives that county, that area, that city more money
Right.
as you come in, pay a film permit, rent something, et cetera, et cetera. Are you also hiring a Missouri veteran? Great. He or she knows how to operate a camera. Hire them. You get to check another box. So those are the things that filmmakers are looking for at the end when they can get the tax back from it.
Very cool.
Gives them the break.
Wow. All the things that I just had no clue.
That's a lot. I'm dumping a lot in the brain, but hey, you find us and listen and we'll tell you more. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you and I met, gosh, when were you a member of Sertoma?
I always
When
bounce
did you
it.
first
Yeah.
become?
Here's how I mark my time in Sertoma. I literally started the month before the first Wingapalooza. We just celebrated our 25th Wingapalooza last November.
Wow.
So that's where I put it in there.
Yeah.
I always look at my record and I'm like, didn't I sign on this? No, I guess not. Okay. I just go by Wingapaloozas now.
I know.
So
I know. I always
when
have
I
such a
was.
hard time. I'm like, is it?
Yep.
I think it was 2013 for me.
okay.
But
I would say about halfway through my time
Yeah.
with
yeah,
Sertoma,
that's
Yep.
crazy. It's
Yep.
been that long.
And we're getting ready for Chili Cook-Off.
Chili is coming.
Every 7 years, it happens on my birthday.
February
21st.
21st this year, yeah.
So I'll be having another birthday at another
50,
Chili
right?
Cook-Off. 50 plus. I'm good. Yep, I'm good. Yep. But it's a lot of fun, and so yeah, I enjoy with my day job, having owned the thrift store, giving back, and especially when it comes to helping kids. That's why Sertoma has kept me afloat all this time, you know, being able to give back and wow, look at the difference we made for the Boys and Girls Club. Look how many grants we were able to give away last year. You know, it just keeps increasing. The need is there. We're trying to find different ways and better ways to make the money to share. So yeah.
I need to actually get together with who's running Chili this year. I need to get together with a couple of those guys and do something like this for that event.
I would probably
that'd be
put
cool.
you first in touch with Travis Fintel.
Yeah.
And then he will say, okay, talk to this chairman, talk to this person. Yeah. The person who is the Chili chair, if I'm not mistaken, is the one and only Pat Gartland, who used to be the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club. Yeah, Pat is a member of Heart of the Ozarks, Sertoma, so he's in the older guys group, wink, wink. Now
There's some younger
I
guys
know
in there, too.
There are. They've done a better job of whatever, but used to be the older guys. Now we're the older guys. Who can tell? But Pat is the chairman of that, and a lot of other veterans through the whole Chili system. Yeah. I believe we're on 44 this year. 44 years of the Ozarks' greatest high school reunion. That's what I always call it.
How many booths?
I think they're shooting.
I think I heard
70 is the magic number, and I believe right now, a month out, we're at about 64. Yeah. So we're just a little. We could use a few more from that standpoint.
Need more chili. More chili.
More chili gets eaten. Yes.
More booths.
More booths. More chili. More money for the kids.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a great event.
Thank you.
And the bands are always great too.
The music is going to be.
What's the lineup on the bands?
Oh my gosh! It's going to have the mixtapes. It's going to have a Nirvana tribute band. Trying to think. There's 2 stages. There's the main stage where all that happens up there, and then KSMU also co-hosts the acoustic stage. So if you want to step away from the loud and the bright and the shiny and so forth, you can still hear the singer-songwriter and so forth. I usually operate from that stage during the day. When I'm not giving away awards.
A little more low-key, not quite so in your face.
I'll kick it off with the national anthem, go back on the acoustic stage, then be up there to hand out the trophies at the end. That's me with the microphone.
And let's talk about your history in radio.
Yeah.
Radio. Have you done anything else besides radio? Did you also use any of the news channels? Or stations?
No, I never went to work for any of the TV stations. Mm-hmm. Mine was always... I started out being the promotions director for one station, Channel Z, the old Channel Z 105.
Yeah.
Then it turned to 95, and I was still there. And one day I used to be a bartender at the Funny Bone Comedy Club, the first one. Yep. And we always tried to get as much free publicity as possible. So on Fridays, morning show DJs would love to have in who was going to be headlining that weekend at the Funny Bone. It just added to the whole repertoire. So I went to Channel Z one day with Kevin and who was it then? Matt and Kevin. And my friend was working there, and she's like, "You need to be our promotions director." I'm like, "What's that mean?" "Well, you drive around in the van all day. You hand out free bumper stickers and free CDs. Oh, you get to eat on trade because we have deals set up with all the restaurants. You'll get to go to any concert in town because we'll be promoting it." And I'm like, "Stop. I'm there. I want the job."
Sold.
Exactly.
How old were you then?
Let's see. So 26.
Huh.
I think I was 26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty sweet gig for a 26-year-old.
It was outstanding. So I did that and went through, still stayed at the same frequency, AKA 95, even when it was being bought by other groups and then added to.
Right.
So it was bought and then turned into a group of stations at the Tower Theater, Sunburst Media. Sunburst was then bought by Clear Channel. Clear Channel morphed into iHeart. So when I left, it was the 5 stations in the Tower Theater. And just recently came to my new job from working again in radio. I went from promotions, then I had 3 in diapers at the same time, so I needed to go into sales, paid a little better and so forth.
Yeah.
And I did that for a while before I escaped to Branson and went and worked for the Dick Clark American Bandstand Theater. That's where I got to blend my promotion skills, putting on events and in conjunction for a while. Then that changed and came up here, and another Sertoma brother said, why don't we pick up people's garage sale stuff, sell it, and then give the proceeds to the Boys and Girls Club? And we're like, let's open a thrift store. So then we did that. I did that for 13
Yodo,
years.
right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Yodo Community Thrift Store. Yep. Yep. Wow. I'll miss that one, but it closed because of COVID.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, COVID killed a lot of great things,
Yep.
really.
Yep. We didn't know what was, it's like, oh, everybody's getting sick and you're not essential. Nope, you can't be open because you weren't essential, that magic word.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Now, are you a transplant, or I heard you mention St. Louis?
So born in St. Louis, but went my K through 12 in Marshfield. So I grew up in Marshfield. Just
what
down
brought
the
your
road.
parents here? Was that?
My parents came here because, first of all, they met at Missouri State, SMSU, became young parents early. And then my grandparents, one set of grandparents lived in St. Louis, the other lived in Marshfield. So mom's parents in St. Louis, we went there. Dad worked at a couple different jobs, and finally he's like, I can't do this city business. He's a country boy. We moved to Marshfield where my other grandparents lived. And so, boom, we set up a shop right there and stayed there K through 12. Yep, my brother and I, and my dad still lives there. My mom was an 8th grade English teacher, so connection through Marshfield all my life.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And you still have family up in St. Louis too?
Lots of cousins and stuff like that. Yep.
Yeah, very nice. Huh. Wow.
I always enjoyed having city grandparents and country grandparents. Talk about 2 ends of the spectrum.
It is.
So go up to St. Louis. You're going to get to go to an Italian restaurant.
Yeah,
you're going to get to go to the zoo. You're going to get to go to a Cardinals ball game, that kind of stuff. See the arch. Then go down to the country grandparents, eat fried squirrel, get to shoot a deer.
No, wait, did you actually
fish.
eat fried squirrel?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Did
I
you
grew
really?
up on fried
I
squirrel.
don't think, being from I'm born and raised here, I don't think I've ever had fried
It's
squirrel.
been a minute, but yeah, when you get to shoot that first fox squirrel with your 22 and so forth, and then have grandma fix it all up for you, it's not bad.
And
She knew how to do
you
it.
did that.
Yeah, I couldn't cook one now, but I definitely put it in the skillet. Yeah, absolutely.
That's wild.
Yep.
Never done that. Never done turtle. Never done anything
No,
else.
it's been a minute since I had turtle. Yeah, but we did squirrel, rabbit,
Frog legs.
quail, frog legs, all the fish, and of course venison all the time. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
grew up on that.
Definitely.
That was a big deal.
Yeah, I didn't do any of those crazy things. Now, I did have, my grandparents were both in the city, in Springfield, so I guess I didn't really get to have the luxury of having grandparents in a city and grandparents in the country. It was
Well, and in
Springfield.
Marshfield, the country grandparents, they became more country because then they when Grandpa retired, they moved back down to the family property in Thayer. So down on the Missouri-Arkansas border.
Yep.
They lived in Thayer. So we really had the difference of St. Louis to Thayer from a difference. And then being in Marshfield, we're about 2 hours away from either one of them. So that was kind of cool growing up too.
Yeah.
Yep. We saw them on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's nice. How old are you again?
57.
57. I'm 51. So
Okay.
yeah, you're a few years older than
Yep.
me. Now, what do you like to do for fun when you have free time? What's your leisure time look like?
I grew up outside of the music. Like I said, when they hit promotions director, when I went to college, it's like, oh my gosh, look what's open, and alternative music, and going to concerts at the Blue Note in Columbia, up where I was at school, and all that. So listening to music, finding music, searching music. I love to go to a thrift store or a flea market and find recorded treasure, and then turn around and put it in the hands of someone else and make something on it. If I can make my car payment every month with what I sell on the side, that's a nice little hobby in my opinion.
Yeah. Huh.
So I like to collect music, but I also like to play it and put it in the hands of people that are looking for,
What's your jam? What do you like the best? Your personal
music-wise?
preference? Yeah, music-wise.
I would say now, probably the thing that drives me the most is the genre known as Americana. So if I get a chance to listen to Jason Isbell live, or a band Silverado, or any of those, that's not country.
Yeah,
It sounds
I'm familiar
a little,
with Americana.
It feels a little, but at the same time, it's a story. Almost every one of them is told as a story and less about necessarily the melody. So I like to know the story.
Yeah.
Then I can sing along with the chorus and stuff like that. So that's probably at the top of my list. Americana.
Anything else?
I like my retro, my college rock, so to speak.
Yeah.
When I was in college from 86 to 90, it was all turning. Everything I left behind in Marshfield, the metal bands and the Cinderella and Def Leppard and all that.
Yeah.
When I got to college, it was all like The Cure and REM.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of that alternative. That's what made me happy to get the job where I did at the radio station, because that's where I got, you got me, and then it was, grunge, keep on going and stuff like that.
I'm a music geek as well. I listen to, and it just really, probably more classic rock than anything, but I'll listen to a lot of, if it's rock, that's pretty much my baby. But I also will do, I'll have a moment where I'm listening to classical music.
Gotcha.
It could be a pianist on stage. I love some of the stuff that
I would say the thing that's I'm checking out more often is jazz. And
I love jazz too.
Talking older jazz, instrumental jazz. I don't need the crooning and stuff.
Yep.
It's like, wow, that is a lot of notes jumping up and down. How did they do that? So that part is, I'm starting to pay more attention to it. So if I find that jazz record in the bin, or something, then it's a 50-50. Well, I'm going to keep that one. Now I'm going to flip that one.
Something I'd really like to see a little more. I know that Holdfast has Jazz Night, and I think there are some other places that have that. And that's great, but I'd like to see a little more of that.
There is, and pretty much now, speaking of third floor in the Galois and First Friday Art Walk, on the second floor gallery of the Galois, the new quote-unquote once-a-month house band on First Friday Art Walk is the Jazzmo Orchestra. So you can come up and hear a full jazz orchestra for about 2.5 hours the first Friday, which the Galois is kicking back off in that location with the band in April. So
Isn't the Galois doing something else too? Another event there with music?
They definitely do the opera, the Ozarks Lyric Opera, and they also do more jazz. But I mean, Jeff and Joy are always booking.
I thought there was
amazing
something
new
else. It was like
stores.
Candlelight, not Candlelight, but
I have been looking. I don't think the Candlelight is there. I mean, I don't think it's happening at the Galois.
Maybe it's not there.
Yeah, but they are now also in charge. The Galois is now this close to handling the booking and contracting at the Fox Theater. So they hope to have more musicians that are going to be there.
Yeah.
They picked up the booking of concerts also at Hammond's Field. So Hammond's Field is going to start having some more outdoor music parties and stuff like that.
Yeah, nice.
When
Nice.
springtime hits. Yep.
Yeah, very
They need to utilize that. People will come to that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just down the road or whatever. People like going to the outdoor amphitheaters and hearing all that.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. That's fun. And I wonder too, with the museum, they may be able to do some stuff as well there, I think.
Yep. Yeah, well, they've been doing that. Like, for example, they've been, last couple showcases they've done there have been with, excuse me, Jeff Houghton in the Mystery Hour. Yeah. He's been the host, and they've turned it into a redo of the Ozarks Jubilee. Do you know what the Ozarks Jubilee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So the history that we have here with the amazing country talent that came through Springfield, Missouri, and was shown across the country on ABC, boom, right there's where it happened, man. So
And bluegrass, I definitely grew up with a lot of bluegrass in my life. Even though I didn't have country parents, they were from the country.
right.
Like Mountain View, Willow Springs.
Yep. Somebody
kind of-
they knew had a banjo, someone had a mandolin, someone
Yep.
could pick a fiddle up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, so I definitely, I know I'll have moments where I'm like, and my wife says, "What are you listening to?" I'm like, "Come on, you're from this area too.
Yeah.
You're from the Ozarks, you know." Good
And I
enough."
like where they're taking it too. I mean, okay, let's see. Billy Strings can play that, or he can play with the Dead. Great, you're a talent, man. You know, it's like, give me traditional, give me plugged in. I'm good with either one. But
Yeah.
bluegrass is also something I don't absorb it as much.
Yeah,
but-
me either.
But
Me either.
yeah,
but I still
like to dip
appreciate
in.
it.
Yep.
You know, I have my days or moments, moods where it hits me, and I'm like, I need something a little different. And then I'll go the other direction too. I'll even go over to like Gregorian chants or stuff like that.
Ooh.
I enjoy that
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
Which is a completely different direction.
Yes, it is.
I like a pretty good variety. I don't know that there's too many people that
Sounds like you're an audio astronaut.
I probably
There you
am.
go.
I had never thought about that.
I just came up with that, but that's fine. You can have it. Yeah.
I could
Ask anybody else.
copyright that.
Yeah,
Save it.
exactly. I'm an audio astronaut exploring the space. Yeah. Cool.
Anything else that you feel that you're excited about, maybe like here or something in the community that we haven't already?
I think that Springfield, and I've been to a few summits locally about what can we do to attract more arts and things like that. We really are lucky to have, when you think about Springfield from that standpoint, yes, okay, please come make a movie here. Maybe a TV show could shoot 8 episodes here. That's huge. The production they just are finishing up in Branson, the Branson Christmas that they shot down on the landing and at Silver City, there's going to get millions of eyeballs on those type of things. But there are so many cities around the country bigger than us that don't have a symphony. We got a symphony, you know. We've got that type of thing. We've got multiple colleges. We've got the arts. We've got the Creamery Arts Center. We've got these things that are going on. When the Galois book something, they're so proud of, for example, of saying, this year we had visitors from 47 states and 17 different countries to a show there. They know that. So it's nice being in the middle of the world, the country, and everything like that. It comes through Springfield. Thank you, 44. Thank you, 65. I don't mind that.
66.
Yeah. Oh, that thing.
100.
Yeah, that's coming.
100 year.
There's that too. Yes.
There it is.
Yeah. So yeah, with my day job, I'll be working a lot on that and getting ready for that event coming up too.
That'd be pretty cool.
If you need somebody to talk to, I know who to put you in touch with.
You know, I always like to ask, is there a business or maybe a person that you feel like I don't already know or that I need to be reintroduced to for this show moving forward? Anybody that stands out as a unique, somebody that we would want to highlight? Because that's what we're always looking for. We're looking for either people or businesses or things to do that are a good highlight for the Ozarks.
Well, you know, it's I know those who had the businesses and but they're great storytellers, and it's like, wow, you made it through that much at that location. But at the same time, there are new and innovative people that I'm trying to meet, just like you are, through the chamber and stuff like that. When we go to ribbon cuttings, from that standpoint, I'm probably. I like discovering a new business, and I like to share it with my friends that are in the publications like Daily Citizen and SBJ. Hey, did you know this was coming and so forth? It's really exciting when I beat them to it.
I know, it is fun.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
It's like, that's your job, business reporter, but hey, you didn't know this person, I told you about him. But
it's amazing how much the chamber puts you in the know.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know where the next cool thing is going to come from.
100%.
The 6 degrees in the film world, right? Yeah. It's not the 6 degrees of separation, it's the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Yeah. So
or in the Ozarks, it's more like 3 degrees.
Exactly. So if I'm only 1 to 2 from that, I never get rid of a phone number because you don't know who's going to need to meet that person. Yeah. I add to that. So I'm wide open this year.
Or even, it doesn't even have to be somebody that's new. It could be somebody that's old. That's like, because in my mind, I've seen some different podcasts and different ideas, and I think this is pretty unique. I'd like to go in and talk to people that are older, that have been here forever. I think there's so much wisdom we have to gain from that.
So the person that I would suggest, if you can picture it, folks, up on Chestnut Expressway and not Boonville, what's the road with Central on it? Crosses the bridge to the shrine, Kimbrew.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so at Chestnut and Kimbrew, what used to be the Amico station right there, and Ozark Mountain Popcorn and everything else, Dr. Phil Swanson would be an outstanding interview. Funny. Still has a couple convenience stores around. His sons own Ozark Mountain Popcorn. That would be a really good, interesting. Their characters also like their dad.
Yeah.
He really jumped on the whole Dr. Phil thing when that's not him, but you can call him that. He used to also have a radio show, I think, on KWTO for a while. I couldn't tell you what day and what time, but I know. But as far as sitting in a chair and interviewing and telling you a story or something, yeah, that would be a guy. I would definitely be interested in introducing him.
Yeah.
The other person, even though he's not in your real estate group, but the historian that is Richard Crabtree.
Man, I follow his stuff. He puts some great stuff up there.
Doesn't it get you down and go, oh, I always wondered what that was, or I didn't recognize that, that kind of thing.
He posts lots of great informational, historical, and it's the thing I don't have to worry about is historically it's always accurate.
Yes.
You have some of those sites where you look, is that right? And then you see comments and it's like, oh boy.
I've asked him if he could, I know he's going to come talk to one of our Sertoma lunch meetings. And also at the same time, it's like, so tell me everything that's been in the building where the Discovery Center is, because that's been around since the 20s. So you're looking at 100 years on that too, okay, he can tell you. He sent me pictures and I was just like, yep, that's the same building. Look at that.
That's crazy.
Black and white and digging out. There was no U.S. Bank there at that time. Yeah, it's across the street. It's fascinating stuff.
It is. What's also fascinating to me is how much the Ozarks has changed. And it's like, the old saying of what's old is new and what's new is old. It always comes back around. And as I've moved into my 50s, I realize even more. It's like, holy crap.
Yep.
There are things that I remember, I remember when there were 7-Elevens all over.
7-Elevens and Wet Willie's water slide.
There's nowhere.
No
it's like,
water
what
slide anymore. Where did it go?
Did they have a franchise and then they just pulled the plug, or what happened?
We had two. We had Hydra Slide and Wet Willie's out there on South Campbell.
I do remember that. That's crazy.
But I couldn't tell you where another one was in the country. It feels like a franchise, but yeah.
Yeah.
But those were fun.
And Godfathers, we had Godfathers all over. And then now you can find one in Nixa and Ozark, and trying to think, is there one in Springfield?
There is one in Springfield over at Lone Pine and 65. Sunshine and 65. Right behind the Waffle House, there's the other Godfathers. That's the local one.
Yeah.
Can you picture that?
No, I can't right now.
It's right by it's the Waffle House right there on the corner of Sunshine
Okay,
and
yeah.
65.
I'm with you now.
Right behind it, like the
That's
car
right.
wash.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I'm with you now.
Yep.
I can picture it. I have seen it there
And I
off
think
Ingram Mill.
it's the same owners of all three, the Ozark and the Nixa and
Yeah.
stuff like that too.
So it's just interesting to me. I guess my point is some of the different businesses or types of businesses that have been here in the area, and we have such history. I mean, obviously we don't have history like they do over in England, but I mean, still, it's cool to be able to find out those things.
Absolutely.
Like all the things that have been here in Springfield, and we lost it. And it's like, why did we lose it? Where did it go?
It's so interesting when people, and you see this obviously in real estate, someone who moves back from a coast or something, like they had to escape the Midwest and Springfield, and now they're like, oh, no, I'm coming back here.
Yeah.
Oh, how big was your house? The 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Oh, you made what
Yeah.
on it? Oh, okay. Well, you're going to buy a lot of acreage here in town, you know? But I mean, to have them return and go, no, I'm happy here. You know, this is good in the Midwest and what we have available. I'm happy.
It's a little bit of a. I've heard some different people say things about it. That it's like not quite the Twilight Zone, but it'll pull you back in. Mm-hmm. You may leave, but you're eventually going to come back.
Yep.
Whether it's family or some other reason, at some point you have a greater appreciation. Because when you're young, it's like, I want something different. I want to go out to the coasts. And then you go do that thing and you're like, well, okay, maybe it's not as great as it seems like.
Okay, this creek is nice, but I want to see, you know, or something like that. Now I'm like, I can't wait to get back out to the creek. Yeah. From that difference. Yep.
Yeah, cool. Well, I mean, I think we've probably reached the end, but I mean,
hope
it's
so.
great. It's been good.
Oh, I mean, I don't hope so. I hope we have a fulfilling, share.
I feel like it's been
everybody.
good.
Good,
So,
me too,
cool.
man.
Yeah,
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. You bet.
Appreciate
you
it.
bet. Put me in connection with Phil, Dr. Phil. That'd be great.
I think.
Anybody else? Just
Well, I'll do that, and I'll also brainstorm with Tyler, because Tyler and I would both agree about Dr. Phil.
yeah, that's funny.
He helped me out a lot at Yoto. He helped Tyler out with Think Big and the Purple Bins and stuff like that, and sat on the board. He would be a perfect one to talk to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. My housekeeper's, I don't think her dad's around anymore. He used to own Key Largo.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a cool place that I wish was still around.
Yeah, I was too young for that place.
Yeah, you would have been a little bit under.
Yeah.
Just like if I said Shady End, it wouldn't have the same.
I remember, I
Impact.
recall it, just not quite the way, like I remember we talk about different places. I remember, so my grandma and grandpa, my grandpa was he worked at the Fed Med prison, retired maybe 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. But she would always keep us kind of more on the west side of Springfield. And it seems like there was an Arby's there on Sunshine near like Campbell. Or maybe it wasn't an Arby's. It may have been something else, but it was in that vicinity.
I don't think it was
And heck, it could have been a McDonald's, just super. I seem to recall there was a fireplace in there. I don't even know what it was anymore. It's been so long. I was probably like 5, 6. Something like that.
The Shady Inn now, where it was, sits in front of the aquarium.
Right. And I don't think it was that. I think it was on the other side, which would be where either Starbucks or McDonald's was. And maybe it wasn't an Arby's. Maybe not Arby's. A&W.
A&W root beer. I think it was an A&W.
That may have been what it was.
Because it was still the Sonic setup. Like A&Ws, you would pull up and have the car hop come up to you and stuff like that.
Well, it seems like there was an inside, because I recall a fireplace there. But I'll have to ask. My grandma's 90 just this last year. I need to go over there and see her anyway, and I'll just say, hey, do you remember what was there? She may be like,
Shady Inn definitely had a fireplace. I can promise you that.
Maybe I'm mixing.
It was that fancy. That was like, as soon as like.
It was like in the middle, and where you were
completely.
Yeah.
Well, they had the lounge, and then they had that, and you would be seated, and it was always roaring. That was like, You can order whatever you want, Kenny. Okay, I'm 10-year-old Kenny. I want a rare steak. You're not going to eat? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I want that. Yeah.
Right.
That's where I got it, was at Shady Inn.
Right.
And I used to also work at, do you remember Johnny Lou's?
I do remember Johnny Lou's. I did go to Johnny Lou's.
I was a bartender there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my aunt and uncle loved that place, and so we would like when I would hang out with them before they had their daughter. I would hang out with them, and we would go there a lot before it became the Indian place.
Yeah.
Many years later.
When it was Johnny Lou's Steakhouse,
Yeah.
I was there working in college, and I had to work I worked Saturday nights, assisted, and then had the bar to run myself on Sundays. And almost always I only had 2 customers. One was one of the 2 brothers who owned Bamboo Inn.
Yeah.
Do you remember Bamboo Inn at Grand and Glenstone?
I do. We ate there a lot.
That's where we got our cashew chicken because we didn't have a cashew chicken place. And Mom would be here studying for school. We'd either get 2 things.
That was our cashew place too. It was fantastic.
And they knew us. They knew what, and they're like, "What's the name?" Childers. Oh, Chiltas, you know. And they'd say that. And so one of the 2 brothers would come in and just sit at the bar and chill, and he always drank the same, scotch and so forth. So I had his, and the other guy who would come in was the owner of this may have been way before your time, Ramones.
I do remember Ramones. I don't.
Okay, yeah, you wouldn't have been in there, but he was the owner, and he was probably got away with a lot of shady stuff.
Yep.
But they both would sit there, and I'd just try to make them laugh and pour another drink and get another tip on a regular basis. But every time I would come into work, Johnny would be back in the kitchen. Hey, Ken, how you doing? How you doing? Hey, go get yourself something to eat. And he always had the burnt ends, and I would just have a huge burnt end salad because I could just put as much steak tips on my salad the way I wanted
That
it.
sounds delicious.
God.
Now you're making me hungry.
I know. Johnny did it, man.
Where are you at?
His place was awesome.
Yeah.
If these conversations resonate with you, consider subscribing to Living in the Ozarks. And if there's a business, organization, or person we should be talking to, drop their name in the comments below. We're always looking for great stories.